Well, from dissatisfied workers to dissatisfied daters, quiet quitting apparently is spreading beyond the office.
Our local professional matchmaker, Camille Kostin from It's Just Lunch Milwaukee, is joining us now live to explain how this term that was previously used to discuss kind of phoning it into your job is now transferring to the romance world. What's going on here, Camille? What does this mean?
Yeah, well, so quiet quitting, it exploded on TikTok. It is a very trendy term right now. So professionally, it's when an employee just decides to do only what's required of them in their job description. They're not going to be putting any extra time, effort, enthusiasm, not going above and beyond. They're basically just doing what's required of them to keep that job.
Okay, so kind of like from the movie Office Space. I'm just going to do just enough to not get fired. I got it. All right, but how does that then kind of work its way into the dating world?
Yeah, I mean, look, quiet quitting has been in the dating world and in relationships forever. I think now we just have a term for it.
Right.
So it's when someone doesn't want to have that breakup conversation with you. So they're just going to be going through the motions of what a relationship might look like, but not really invested in that relationship. They're not going to be going above and beyond for you. They're basically doing the bare minimum of what's required to date you. And then it can be really tricky. You know, this can lead the other person to feeling confused, resentful, angry. And it's, to be honest, it's very passive aggressive and kind of a cowardly way to end things.
Now, Camille, I know what this is because it's 100% happened to me before. But for viewers at home, what are some telltale signs of this?
You know who you are. No, I'm just
yeah, I mean, it's the worst. I think it's worse than ghosting. But, you know, one of the biggest signs is if your partner is avoiding spending time together. If they are just cutting way back on the quality time they're spending with you, they're disengaging with you, they're not making initiative to see you. And this can also even be in conversations. They're not texting or calling you as much as they might used to. You know, boundaries are really important in a relationship, but if it's starting to feel more distant than it is balanced, it is not a good sign.
Right.
And then another is if when you actually are with your partner and they are just not mentally there, they're off in like la la land, daydreaming about other things, thinking about other people or things, not paying attention to you, not
checking
giving you
their phone.
Yeah, on their phone. Look, like you want a partner that's going to be paying attention to you, that's going to be there in the present moment. My clients at It's Just Lunch say that that's one of their biggest deal breakers. So if you're noticing that, it is not a good sign. And then also if your partner just kind of stops talking about the future with you. And this does not need to be like future plans, like long term. This can even be what's going on this weekend. If they're not sharing what their plans are or have any intention of including you in them, that's a big red flag.
Right. Yeah, if they're talking about moving to New York and they're not inviting you to go along, that can be a problem.
Or not even telling you. Yeah, not a good sign.
Right. Well, what was that old thing people always used to say? Like, you shouldn't make plans farther out in the future than the time that you've been together. So, like, it always freaks people out if you're like, what are you doing next year? Like,
I know. And you're like, which is, I guess, like people do that maybe because they want to show commitment. But to me, Camille, what this is quiet quitting, is sort of the step before, and again, I know this because it's been done to me before. It's a step before people doing things that are kind of mean because they don't have the courage to break up with you. So they're just kind of being a jerk in hopes that you are the one to break up with them.
Right.
100%. I mean, this is like I said, a cowardly way to end things. You know, I feel like, you know, if you want to just break up with somebody, break up with somebody. And if you're noticing these things, I mean, I think communication is obviously, you know, one of the number ones in a relationship. Have the conversation about it, but also watch out for the gaslighting or manipulation, you know, and to be honest, go with your gut and intuition. If something does not feel right, it's probably not right. You know, actions speak louder than words as well. So even if you have a conversation and you're still seeing the same behavior, you know, it's time to end things because chances are that's probably what they want you to do. Unfortunately, it's a mean thing. It's not nice, but go meet somebody that is going to treat you the way you deserve to be treated.
Yeah, there you go. And sometimes, like the old song, you got to be cruel to be kind. So maybe don't quiet quit, just quit.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish in the sea though, but this is the worst. It's one of the worst things. But it is the videos on TikTok have been hilarious, but it is very relevant in today and in the dating world.
But in such a bad time though for it too, with cuffing season right around the corner.
Yeah.
Is there like an actual deadline on that? I didn't know.
It's the gun deer opener. That's when cuffing season starts, Rob. I don't know. In Wisconsin.
You don't want to be a deer hunter's widow. You got to find somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, Camille, thank you. Thanks, we laugh Camille. So we don't cry.
I know.
There you go. No quiet quitting out there. Knock that off. Camille's got all the scoop.